Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back to part 6 of the ERA project. And if this goes to plan, this will be going out on the Sunday before Christmas. So I hope everyone's got everything ready. Hope you're all prepared, because I'm not. Yeah, still quite a few bits to do, Christmas shopping and just finishing up bits. And lots to get done on the cars. So the good thing about Christmas is I've got a bit of time off over Christmas. I think it works out a week. I think Mark's got time off as well, so it means there'll be lots of progress on the cars. So you rejoin us here, following on from last week, and as you can see, we've put the inner wings back in now, and just getting them all lined up and ready to permanently weld in place. I was watching back episode 5 earlier, the bit where Mark welds the cross beams or strengthening beams into the car, and for a moment I thought he might weld himself in. It would have been quite funny if he did, but he didn't. I did ask him, he did say it crossed his mind. So as we go through this, I'll try and think of some of the comments that have come up recently just to answer some questions. So, been asked a few times about just buying a new shell because the amount of panels that are going into the car, there won't be much left that's original panels, but it just comes down to cost. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but I'm sure a full heritage shell is around about the £10,000 to £12,000 mark. That's just in primer, so obviously then it still needs seam sealing paint and everything like that. So when you add up the cost of the repair panels for the ERA, yes, I think it's probably going to end up being a few £1,000s, but that's still far cheaper, you know, possibly a quarter of the price of buying a complete new shell. And 90% of it will be brand new anyway, so just cost wise it doesn't really make sense. And I think it's just I know a lot of it won't be original, but I'm not convinced that when you reshell a car it retains as much value. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm not sure. Obviously a new shell you're guaranteed it's rot free, but obviously it's completely not original then. But what do people think? I know a few of the people that watch the channel have had heritage shells or are having heritage shells at the moment, and once they're painted they really are amazing, and yeah, they're being built as brand new cars basically, which is very, very nice. But again, like I say, it just comes down to cost. So before we get too carried away here, the front end is just on at the moment, just to make sure the alignment's okay, make sure everything fits fine. They will be coming back off again before it goes on to the jig. I was speaking to Mark earlier, so both of the subframes have gone away for powder coating. They've been away for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and the powder coat has still not done them, so it's a little bit frustrating because we're at the point where we want to put the front subframe back in just to check final alignment. but we don't have a subframe. But the good news is I've just taken the subframe out of Project Sprout. So I'm going to run that down to Marks tomorrow, and we're going to use that subframe just to make sure everything's aligned okay. It's kind of the good thing about having friends with minis and workshops that do restorations as well, because we share tools, share parts, do bulk orders of parts. Yeah, it's quite handy, it is. Now most of the welds that are going in on these inner wings here, it's inner wing to bulkhead join there. They're plug welds. It would be nice to spot weld them, but it's just where they are, you can't get the welding tongs big enough or the right shape to get both sides of that panel. So that means you have to plug weld them, which is not a problem, it's just not quite as neat plug welding. But it can be, once you've ground it back, linish it with a flat disc or something like that, it looks just as good. So obviously wings back off now, front panel off, and like I say, they'll stay off until it comes back off the jig now. For now, I'm just going around welding up those A posts on both sides where it meets the inner wing. And I think I might have mentioned it in the previous episode, the scuttle panel is also being replaced. The plan was to leave it in place, but it looks like it's not a genuine scuttle panel. Now I can't be 100% sure, but it doesn't fit very well. So that was causing alignment issues with the near side front wing. So we did get it all lined up in the end, but we had to make some adjustments to the near side wing, and it just didn't quite feel right. So we're going to do the scuttle as well and put a heritage scuttle on there. In for a penny, in for a pound, so they say. But like I said much earlier on, it's worth doing it on an ERA. It's a very rare car. I think one of only, I think it was about 33 red ERAs registered and built for the UK. How many are still left on the road, I'm not quite sure. Certainly won't be all 33. So like I say, I'm desperately trying to keep up with the editing and getting videos out at the moment. When I say keep up with it, I've got so much footage and I struggle to find the time to edit it, because it does take quite a few hours, some of these. And the problem is, if I get too much of a backlog, I just can't remember what we've done, what order the footage goes in, so I try and keep on top of it. The good news for any of you people that enjoy watching the videos is there'll be lots of videos coming lately. I think I'll probably do one every day up until Christmas, and possibly one a day over Christmas as well. The reason there's been so much really is obviously because Mark's going full speed on the ERA now, and yeah, I kind of stepped up a gear on Project Sprout because the plan was to get that ready for paint by Christmas. I don't think I'm going to achieve that. In fact, I'm almost certain I'm not. But it will be very close. I think if I say the Christmas break, when does that go round till? Let's say New Year. I think it will be ready for paint by then. It won't go for paint then because it's trying to coincide that then with when we paint the ERA. So I think the plan is to try and do both cars at the same time. Obviously not the same colour, but Mark's looking around for options for a spray booth at the moment and looking at some of these inflatable spray booths that you can buy. They're quite big. He possibly has enough space in his garden to put one up, but it's just some concerns over heating it and lighting in it. With Project Bolt and Project Kit in the past, Mark's just adapted his garage, put loads of plastic sheets up, but it's not ideal. But it is nice and warm in the garage. You can whack the heating up and you can almost have it like a spray booth. So not quite sure what Mark's going to do yet. Maybe I'll have a chat with him tomorrow. But it does make sense to try and do both cars at the same time, because yeah, if you've got everything set up for spraying, it's not too much grief once you roll out one car to roll another one in and get started on that as well. So that's the plan. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. So we're putting the jig in now. So this will be the third car for this jig. No, I think it'll be the second actually, because Mark bought the jig for Project Kit and had a different type of jig beforehand. But it's good to get some use out of a jig anyway. I'm sure this won't be the last project this jig sees. And it's from a company that advertised in Mini Magazine or Mini World Magazine. I can't remember what they're called. I think it's just Jigs R Us or Jigs for You or something like that. They're pretty good. They seem pretty cheap, but by the time you add all the extras on, they work out quite expensive. So here we go, we've got some helpers. So Lucy and Mark's daughter.
Hey guys, William Murphy here.
And how about that then? Guest appearance from, hey guys, William Murphy here. William popped down for the weekend. I think he had a training course or something like that down on the south coast, so he popped down to see myself and Mark. And as you'll see in a moment, he couldn't resist getting his hands dirty. So it'll be quite amazing actually when we complete this build how many YouTube classic mini content creators have had some part of input into it. So far Paul Jeffries and William Murphy, myself obviously and Mark. Is there anyone else at this stage? Don't think so, but I'm sure there'll be more. So up on the jig now, and again full steam ahead here. I'm just doing a couple of patch repairs on the boot. Now Mark did buy a whole boot floor, but when I say whole boot floor, sort of from the seat backwards to the right at the very back, but there was it just wanted a couple of small repairs, and it just seemed such a shame to rip the whole boot floor out just for that. And it also seemed a shame to cut bits out of a new panel to patch up. So I just used some decent quality metal and just patch those repairs. So we're coming to an end of this part 6 of the Project ERA. Thank you very much, and if you've got this far, hope you've enjoyed it, and tomorrow I should think there'll be a Project Sprout update at about 6:30, I guess. So enjoy Christmas if you don't watch another video before then. Thank you. Oh wow, I got a bit premature then. There's still some minutes to go. I need to pad out now. These videos, I obviously during the edits, I see roughly what's going on, but I do just do these narrations off the cuff, just because it's 20 minutes narrating, it's hours of editing, and I just don't have the time to edit it, which takes a few hours, watch it, then narrate it, then copy, you know, cut and chop, and yeah, I just kind of say it as I see it, try and add some snippets of information as we go through. So we're just getting the floor there ready for a complete end machine floor assembly. So I think it's like a third floor. It goes a third of the way along the floor. So it's inner sill, outer sill, floor pan, and yeah, they're great. We fitted. This will be the 5th one, so got quite used to how to prep it and get them ready. And they're actually really good, really quick and easy to fit once you know how. And well, I say easy, it's not that easy, but quicker, much quicker than buying all the panels separately. I think we are genuinely coming to the end now, so thanks guys, cheers.